Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us back here at GCAC's channel. We have a special interview for you guys today as we sit here with Steve Peterson, a consultant of GCAC. We're going to dive into his past and his role. Steve, how are you doing? Are you ready to get into it?
Great. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks.
Perfect. So, Steve, first and foremost, tell me about your role as a consultant for GCAC and your expertise, how you got there.
Sure, I appreciate it. Michael, so what we did is I've been CEO of a company called Waste Tracker, which was in the sustainability and recycling market for the cannabis industry. In that journey, we were really seeing this whole thing around environmental social governance goals and attributes that companies were trying to achieve. So we did a pivot and we really started focusing on how we can help our audience deal with these issues around sustainability. And for the audience that isn't aware, the United Nations issued a statement in 2017 about how we can all report and do a better job on compliance and around environmental, social, and governance goals. So what we're doing is we working with GCAC and Brad and the team is we focused on how can we create a system that helps companies document those attributes and provide the evidence. And using the blockchain was a very natural synergy for being able to do that.
Yeah, it is really interesting. A lot of times when people think of blockchain technology, they just think of the speculative nature of it, not understanding the use cases of it are astronomical. There's so many different uses. So tell me how it was a no-brainer for you to go to blockchain tech for this.
Old auditor in me looked at it and said, we wanted to provide, because when you look at a lot of what companies are doing right now in reporting their sustainability goals, it's what I call a lot of word salad, meaning they're throwing a lot of pictures up there of happy faces and their involvement in the community, et cetera. And we wanted to cut through all that and say, well, where's the evidence behind it? And the beautiful thing about the blockchain technology world is once you record that evidence, you can't change it or edit it. And so from my perspective and a consumer's perspective, if somebody makes a claim, then show it, show the proof. Right. And so that's what we've been able to create with our system in terms of coordinating that evidence with the claim of the company.
Yeah, so walk me through that process then. Okay, so it records the evidence. Tell me how that works, and if you can, describe to me what that really looks like.
Sure. Let's pretend for a second that you're a grower. Okay, and what happens is in that model is you're doing a lot of things, especially in the cannabis industry, that I felt are not being shared with the public or their investors or their community.
Okay.
And so what it does is, for example, if you're a grower, are you using organic materials? Are you using recompostable materials? Are you recycling? Are you energy efficient? Right? Are you a minority-owned business or a female-owned business, or do you have a diverse board? So I'm touching on some of the environmental social goals, or we call attributes. Being able to incorporate that and capture that really helps tell the story of the business. And that's really the key thing is, so they've been so focused on producing their brands and everything else, but they're really not telling the story of how they got there. And that's what the blockchain enables them to do. Now, on the other side, what does that impact is to the consumer? Well, if you're a consumer and you see a QR code, you're able to now scan that code and see the story of that cannabis product or hemp product. Now, why is that important? The thing that we were analyzing is the consumer, especially consumer group, my age group, really needs to have trust but verify is the best way I can put it. We want to be able to see that the product I'm buying that I'm going to be putting in my body is from a company that cares about certain elements, right? That produces a reputable product that is being tested appropriately, right? So it removes the fog around this industry. And I feel like that's a critical component of the industry as a whole, as it matures. So let's get it documented, but let's let the software tell the story for the brand and the company. And then obviously, so it benefits the consumers. Now, having said that, there's also some other benefits that are coming out of all this. a company that shows that they're meeting ESG goals actually becomes more attractive to recruit employees, because employees want to understand, what does this company represent?
Mhm.
Now, on the consumer side, consumers are looking at this and they're seeing reports already that the millennial generation is actually seeing a 3 times increase in sales for companies that state their ESG goals and accomplishments. So there's really a connection now, like never we've seen before, to the consumer.
Yeah, what's really interesting is previously a lot of things were like, okay, government mandated, okay, let's try to
Mhm.
improve things overall. But Steve, you're really right there. And now the consumer does care, which is really accelerating the process of ESG stuff coming online for a lot of companies, as they see people themselves are incentivized to get involved with anything, either working there or consuming the products, if they can see those things clear as day.
Yeah, we have to remove the mystery.
Mm.
Right. And this is the best way to do it. And so I define ESG as its benefits are it helps the brand tell its story. It helps it with their investors as well. Think about the impact this is having with their investor community in terms of showing their maturity. It helps with reach their consumer or the medical patient. Again, we have to remove the shroud of mystery around cannabis. And this is, in my opinion, a very simple way that we can do it. And in that, so we're getting ready and have now put out a new product called clearESG.
Mhm.
We picked the name Clear because it's about transparency. And what we're really building on, Michael, is how can we show true transparency across the supply chain? And that's really becoming an added value, right? So if we're going to build a more sustainable supply chain in this new age of economy, what better way to do it to be able to show that every part of the product that you just picked up has been accounted for, properly sourced, right, and provides the benefits that I'm expecting from the product.
Yeah, yeah, Steve. It sounds like an exciting development for you guys, and curious. So what comes next?
What comes right next is we've actually been busy, even though the product wasn't officially released until this week,
Mhm.
signing up really strategic partners. So to really, and the reason why that's important is I wanted a client company who comes into our system, not only to be able to document and show their attributes, their merit badges is what we define it, but also if they see something that they want to be more involved in, how do they get help in doing that?
Mhm.
So we've aligned ourselves with some great new partners, Net Zero Analysis, Thing Blue, Trust Solutions. And what that's allowing us to do is here are the resources where that grower or manufacturer can go and get advice or consult, right, with those providers and help them meet those goals. All right, now, for example, Net Zero Analysis out of Chicago, they help our clients achieve carbon credits. So this is a huge because we are a green industry, right? Again, if they want to be able to earn income from their carbon offsets, then here's a perfect way to be able to do it.
Yeah, interesting. So you're kind of like building a whole ecosystem around it, then, and good steps
Very
there.
much so, and that's the exciting part right now is as we look through this, and also even we're doing work with some nonprofits as well, because one of the attributes is, listen, do you as an organization donate to charity? And most organizations donate, but they're not telling it. So we align now, for example, with an organization here in Ohio called Medicaid Ohio, which is a nonprofit which is doing advocacy work on behalf of consumer and patient rights. So here's an example where if they want to donate, but they don't know a good certified organization that deals with the cannabis industry, we're going to provide them with a list that they can get involved with, and then claim that as one of their attributes in terms of who they are. Because we feel like once they start this journey, they'll understand really what their value and mission statement is and how they can make that positive impact, and then what kind of organizations they want to align with.
Wonderful, Steve. Well, I really feel like, for lack of a better term, you've really cleared things up for a lot of people here related to ESG. And but if
Mhm.
anyone has any other questions about it, don't be afraid to send them over, and we'll happily dive a little bit deeper for you guys. But Steve, is there anything else you want to add before we go today?
Yeah, I would encourage everybody to really take a look seriously at this whole ESG movement. And they can go to our webpage now. It's clearesg.app. They'll find it on the web, and we'll be glad to show them and review with them what their goals are and their achievements, frankly. Again, this should really be a celebration and not a requirement, right, in terms of dealing with for companies and celebrating what they do and who they represent. When I've gone to some recent trade shows and I ask people, tell me your story, tell me what brought your company to this position, they bubble over with enthusiasm. The problem is they haven't been able to communicate that. And we feel here's the device that finally allows them to communicate it. And oh, by the way, it helps them with corporate governance and reporting requirements. So.
All right, Steve. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on and clearing things up for us. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Stay tuned for more coming soon. And Steve, have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Michael. And thank you, audience.